You didn't sweat through your shirt. You remembered all three of your hobbies and they laughed a few times. Nobody stormed off. It felt fine, maybe even promising. And then nothing. Or a weird chilly, hey, you're great. I'm just not feeling the click. Here's what most people don't realize. Early dating doesn't usually end because somebody didn't like you. It ends because they didn't get you. First impressions are fast and frequently wrong. And if you're not coming through clearly, people fill in the blanks and often not in your favor. So if things keep fizzling before they ever catch fire, it might not be that you're doing something wrong. It might be that you're being misunderstood. Let's talk about 7 ways that might be happening, and more importantly, how to show up in a way that people actually do understand. If that sounds at all interesting or intriguing, I hope you'll stick around because that's what's on the agenda. Maybe you like to let people talk. You figure you're being respectful if you're listening, if you're not talking over them. That's a good thing, right? But when you're not saying much and you're not asking much, mostly just nodding along, you're not being seen as thoughtful. You're being read as disengaged. Or worse, like you're just waiting for an escape. People want to feel like you're curious about them. If the conversation feels one-sided, they assume you're just not interested, and they're not going to stick around to find out otherwise. So ask something real, not just what do you do, or ask them what do you like about what you do. And when they answer, don't change the subject. Ask the next logical question. Oh, like what surprised you about that? Would you do that again if this weren't a factor? Follow-up questions. You're trying to keep things light and lively. You want to be fun and magnetic and show your personality. And maybe, just maybe, charm their pants off emotionally. But if you're doing 90% of the talking and only reacting to their life stories with, oh yeah, that reminds me of a time you're not having a conversation. You're hosting a podcast they didn't subscribe to. People don't leave dates thinking, wow, I got to hear their whole TED Talk on scuba diving in Croatia. They leave thinking, did they even ask me anything? It's happened all the time. You'd be amazed how many people tell me that after a date. Let your interest match your energy. Nod less. Track more. Ask questions that say, I heard that and I want more. I want to know more about you. Because real charm isn't in how you talk. It's how well you listen and notice. Let your interest match your energy. If they say something meaningful, don't just say, oh, that's cool. Say, that totally makes sense. What made you choose that? Show that you not only heard them, but you're tracking, you're engaging. At some point, you're going to mention something like, next time we come here. And you're not trying to lock it down just yet. You're just excited, and that makes perfect sense. But for some people, it can feel like pressure, like you're asking them to get serious before they've had a chance to even get comfortable. Relationships have a natural pace to them, and if you rush that whole bonding before trust has even started to develop, it can feel like you're more invested in the idea of them than in the actual person, and that feels wrong to people. So slow your roll without losing warmth. Instead of hinting at future plans, you can say, hey, I've been enjoying this and I'd love to learn more about what makes you tick. Let connection build from your curiosity, not from the way you're planning your future. So you're trying to be easy and chill and low maintenance, so you go along with what they like. You smile and you say, oh, me too, even when you're thinking, I really couldn't care less about artisanal mustard. The problem is they walk away not knowing a single real thing about you. Yeah, you're likable, sure, but also blank. Wait, did somebody just say recycling? I'm a huge fan of recycling. I rinse every jar and I sort every bottle. I drag that bin down to the curb like I'm saving the world. But every once in a while, there's a little wish cycling going on. You know, that moment where you toss something in the bin and you're just hoping that somehow miraculously there's a machine out there somewhere ready to transform it and give it a second life. And honestly, there's a little wishful thinking going on here too. I see you. Some of you are just hoping you'll stumble across this channel again when you need it most. And sure, you could hope, Or you could simply hit that button and subscribe. That way you always know where to find me. For the coffee and the conversation, a little clarity, do it. Just go ahead and hit that button. I mean, hope is nice, but having a plan, way better. All right, now we can head on back to the episode. Why were they even talking about recycling? And here's the thing, people don't connect by taste in music or disagreeing about the best Coen Brothers movie. They connect because they want to build the same kind of life. They look at life in the same way. So yeah, shared taste is nice. It's the cherry on top, but shared values, a shared outlook and a sense of what matters and what's right and what's wrong, that's what actually creates chemistry. So if you're too neutral on everything, they can't even tell if you have a vision for your future, let alone whether theirs fits along or inside of yours. Just start small. Say what makes you feel excited. Let them see your real preferences. And that's not being difficult or weird. That's being memorable and sharing who you are. I get it. You don't want to seem needy. You want to keep it casual. So you wait hours to respond. You act unbothered when they cancel last minute. You say things like, whatever works, instead of, I'd actually like to see you this week. Honesty, right? You're trying to be low pressure, but to them, you read like you really couldn't care less. And people don't chase clarity. They chase a connection. They want something to feel good, right? You don't have to go overboard. Just let the warmth of your real personality come through. Oh, I was really looking forward to that. I hope we can reschedule. That shows more strength than your silence does. You're not begging for attention. You're showing them what honesty looks like. And that's attractive. Perhaps you've got a really great sense of humor. You can even make them laugh. You've got great lines. You can turn anything into a bit if you look at it just the right way. But if you joke your way out of every real moment, they're not going to get an opportunity to know who they're talking to. And worse, they won't know how to get through. If every compliment gets deflected and every sincere moment gets a punchline, it stops feeling playful at some point and it just starts feeling closed off. You can still be funny, but just make sure that you let the real stuff in too. Let that breathe. Accept a compliment. Say thank you. Let them learn something true about you before you turn it into your own personal sitcom. You're not being too much. You're just being known. So you're nice, you say thank you, you have good manners, and you smile. When they say, let's do this again, you say something vague. You're not sure yet, so you don't want to mislead them. And I get that, but here's the thing. If you are interested and you don't say so, they're going to assume you're not. People aren't good at this, and most people can't decode politeness. They instead interpret it as detachment or disinterest. You don't have to set a date. You just have to say, oh, I'd totally be up for that. Or let's try for next week if things line up all right. That's all it takes to let somebody know that there is some type of a spark that's worth exploring and you'd be open to getting together again. You don't need the whole plan. You just need to leave the door open. So if dating keeps, falling flat, don't assume it's because you're too boring or too much or too whatever. It might just be that you're not being read accurately. You're like a novel that they're skimming. Nobody gets to the good stuff that way. Dating isn't just about being appealing. It's about being legible. So if people can't read you, they're going to write you off. But once you see where the signal is getting scrambled, you can just adjust and fix that. You don't have to talk louder or overshare or reinvent yourself. You just have to turn the volume up on your actual self. Let them see the real you. The you that laughs a little too loud sometimes, loves weird snacks, and gets nervous when they really like somebody. That's who they're going to remember and want to know more about. That's the kind of person that they could actually fall for. I hope you found that interesting or helpful. If you did, you might want to check out this little episode over here, but oh hey, before you go, that's my mom there. Please give her the thumbs up. She's watching those numbers like they're her cholesterol panel, and we need some good news this month. I'm kidding, she's fine. And don't forget to subscribe because this show ages better than your ex's Instagram selfies. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I'll look forward to next time, and until then, have a good one.